Hi, and welcome to the Weather Guru. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for this weekend edition, August 15th, 2020, on the East Coast. I just want to start off with some weather news. Last weekend, this past week, Monday, we've had that big derecho. Apparently, the USA Today, it said it damaged 10 million acres of crops in Iowa. That's corn crops gone. Iowa's the number one producer of corn. Soybeans gone as well. And 600,000 still without power in the Midwest. The power of Monday's derecho, we had winds exceeding 110 miles an hour. That's a Category 2 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. And as you can see, that recovery from the storm is going to take weeks. The derecho flattened at least one-third of Iowa's crops. That's 10 million acres gone. That's a lot of food production gone. And so our prayers and thoughts are with those in the Midwest, as 600,000 remain without power, 330,000 were in Iowa, according to PowerOutage.us. Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, and Davenport still had widespread outages of power Wednesday morning. So they're looking for help. One town in Marshalltown, they had an EF3 tornado. It destroyed the town's central business district with winds of 100 miles an hour and even higher gusts. It started to peel off things here. As you can see, this car here, bricks, and this car is covered in bricks and roofing material here in Marshalltown, Iowa. Storm silos were damaged here. As you can see, this aerial photo here of the Heartland Grain Company elevator, these grain elevators. These are billion-dollar losses for a lot of companies in Cedar Rapids and Davenport and those the Tri-City area there in Iowa. And so things are not looking good here as the recovery process looks to take weeks. And a lot of property damage and destruction of crops. So prayers and thoughts are out with them as well. Now turning to the tropics here, we have two storms out there, Tropical Storm Josephine and also Tropical Storm Cal. Tropical Storm Cal is less of a worry because, as you can see, it's moving away from the United States and out into the open sea. It is expected to become post-tropical storm by Monday afternoon. Top winds are 50 miles an hour, pressures around 1,000 millibars, and is moving quickly east-northeast at 22 miles an hour. So Cal is out of here. Josephine, however, is not going to make landfall in the Caribbean or in the U.S. It may affect Bermuda and the Central Atlantic later on in this week, probably Thursday or Friday. Right now, the facts on Josephine is the maximum sustained winds are 45 miles an hour. Pressures at 1,008 millibars. Is moving west-northwest at 17 miles an hour. And it's affected by a lot of dry air. There's a lot of dry air and shear around it. And this is where it's going to be going. It's going to be making that loop following the Bermuda High to the western periphery of the Bermuda High here. And that's later on Wednesday and Thursday of this coming week. Tropical storm force winds only extend out about 80 miles from the center, and most of that is sheared off to the north of the system. So there is no tropical storm force winds to the south quadrant, southwest quadrant, or southeast quadrant. It's mostly in the north and northeast quadrant that they're finding tropical storm force winds, and even then, it's only maximum sustained winds at 45 miles an hour with some higher gusts. So it's not a very strong system, and it's going to be actually weakening to a depression come Monday morning and Tuesday afternoon. And there's some models that call for this to dissipate before it even reaches Bermuda Islands on Wednesday and Thursday. So that's also a possibility. Whatever's left of it after it interacts with this trough here in this western periphery of this high that comes off the East Coast. That's something that we have to see here how it reacts. Now, another thing to keep in mind too is as far as the contiguous United States, there's been a lot of talks about in the contiguous United States on the East Coast of flood warnings and flood watches. And so we have to be very careful. Those in North Carolina, the Tidewater area of Virginia, and other areas should be very on the watch out for flash flooding. And I'm talking about Norfolk, Virginia, Chesapeake, Suffolk, Newport News. Those areas need to be there was a flash flood warning of rain issued, 1 to 2 inches of hour of rain. And so we want to be very careful in this area down here, and also in central North Carolina and the Piedmont from Greensboro back to Hickory and some of the mountains of North Carolina, Virginia. Some of this rain here is very, very heavy, producing heavy rain in here. This area in here from Newport News, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Suffolk. there is a flash flood warning for this area in effect until 11 p.m. tonight. So if you're coming through that area, there's a lot of heavy rain here associated with this low pressure that's around off the coast here, off the coast of North Carolina. It is non-tropical in nature, but it's producing heavy rain in the mountains of Virginia and North Carolina, and also the Tidewater region here. Light scattered showers in Philly and New York will be possible during the day. Elsewhere in the country, there is heat in the building in the central part of this country here, we have massive heat in Dallas, Fort Worth, 100-degree heat, New Orleans, Gulfport, Texarkana, all the way over to Florida. There is massive heat. It's 102 degrees in Dallas currently, 107 in Fort Worth, 93 in Beaumont, 103 in Houston. This is going to be central heat building as a result of this ridge and this trough over here. Cooler temperatures in this trough here, as you can see, 60s and 70s from DC up into Philly. But out in the West Coast, there's going to be huge heat in the Southwest, 112, 116. Phoenix set a record yesterday, 116 degrees for heat. So heat advisories continue in the desert Southwest and also in the West in general, as LA is also 104 degrees, 104 in Bakersfield, 109 in Eureka and Redding, California. So they're baking as well. Baking in the central and U.S. and baking out west. And the South, typical thunderstorms in the South. Not much to be expected, but temperatures will be around seasonal, around 90 degrees. Right now it's clear in Tampa. A few showers off the coast here from Daytona Beach down to Palm Bay and Melbourne Beach and the Space Coast, but nothing really severe. A few showers down here in the central part from Lake Okeechobee down to closer to the Naples Golden Gate, crossing Alligator Alley, but nothing really severe. This is your forecast. This is your conditions, tropics, and otherwise for August 15th, 2020. Thank you for joining me. Please hit that subscribe button for the Weather Guru, and I'll see you next time.